Jeff, ridden by Peter Scudamore. 2 is Gay Brief, Dermot Brown. 3, Russell, Michael Bowlby. 4, French Goblin, Peter Hobbs. 5, Miss Nero, Bruce Darling. 6, Royal Craftsman, David Hood. 7, Tuet Castle, Jamie Osborne. 8, The Bakewell Boy, Jimmy Frost. 9, Winterhaven, Blinkert, Mike Williams. And 10, Lingham Bride, ridden by Chris Dennis. And here's how they bet at the moment.
With Miss Nero opening favourite 5-2, Gay Brief 3-1, French Goblin on 7-2, on 5s Russell, then a gap to Royal Craftsman at 10-1, All Jeff and Tuet Castle on 12s, Winterhaven the outsider 14-1, Trench to 1 bar these.
Yes, hopefully it is. They're under orders. Royal Craftsman is a little bit behind the others, so Michael Sayers tells them to stay where they are, but they're coming in now. This looks like it, and they're running, and All Jeff goes straight into the lead from Tuet Castle and the Bakewell Boy and Russell. And Gay Brief, French Goblin, just the back marker with Winterhaven as they run down to the first of 12 flights this time. All Jeff, the French import, lands in the lead from Tuet Castle and the Bakewell Boy. Then pulling his way up there on the outside is Lingham Bride, with Russell on the inner, Gay Brief, Miss Nero, and Royal Craftsman, Winterhaven, and French Goblin. All Jeff from Tuet Castle and Bakewell Boy and Russell, Miss Nero and Gay Brief, quite closely grouped as they run down to the second flight, down towards Swinley Bottom. All Jeff, Tuet Castle, the Bakewell Boy, Gay Brief, Miss Nero and Russell, Lingham Bride, Royal Craftsman, and French Goblin. Begin to swing right-handed now. All Jeff on the inside of Tuet Castle and the Bakewell Boy, Russell and Miss Nero. Then Lingham Bride on the outside, Gay Brief, and then Royal Craftsman, Winterhaven, and finally French Goblin. And All Jeff rather, still making it from the Bakewell Boy and Tuet Castle. Then Lingham Bride, Winterhaven and Russell as they come to the third. Gay Brief is next. The Bakewell Boy going up on the outside. On the inside, All Jeff, Lingham Bride right up with them, then Tuet Castle, then comes Winterhaven, Gay Brief and Russell and Royal Craftsman. French Goblin's just the back marker still. At the fourth, Lingham Bride, All Jeff on the inside, Tuet Castle. And very closely grouped as they race towards the home turn on the first circuit. All Jeff from Tuet Castle and the Bakewell Boy and Lingham Bride. Then comes Miss Nero and Russell and Gay Brief, then Royal Craftsman, Winterhaven, and French Goblin. This will be the second last next time round, and that's All Jeff towards the left of the picture. Towards the far right of the picture is Lingham Bride. Between horses is Tuet Castle and the Bakewell Boy. Just in behind them come Miss Nero and Russell and Gay Brief and Royal Craftsman and Winterhaven. And French Goblin still just the back marker. Coming to number 6 of the 12 flights in all. All Jeff, Tuet Castle, the Bakewell Boy and Miss Nero and Russell and Gay Brief, and then Lingham Bride. And behind them, Royal Craftsman, Winterhaven, and finally French Goblin as they come past the winning post with another complete circuit. All Jeff, the leader, from Tuet Castle and Russell and Miss Nero and the Bakewell Boy and Lingham Bride. Then closely packed are Winterhaven, Royal Craftsman, and Gay Brief, and finally French Goblin. As they begin the run downhill, still All Jeff, the Auteuil winner. From Tuet Castle, Russell on the inside, the Bakewell Boy, Miss Nero. Behind Miss Nero is Lingham Bride, Royal Craftsman, then Gay Brief. Behind Gay Brief, Winterhaven, and then French Goblin. Number 7, All Jeff, lands in the lead from Tuet Castle. A good jump up on his outside. The Bakewell Boy and Miss Nero come next, then Russell, then Lingham Bride and Gay Brief and Royal Craftsman. French Goblin has just relegated Winterhaven to last place. All Jeff, Tuet Castle. These two from Miss Nero, Russell, Gay Brief, Royal Craftsman. Then the Bakewell Boy, who's lost a place or two. French Goblin, who's made a couple of places. Winterhaven, and now Lingham Bride has dropped back last. That was the 8th flight. They're beginning to swing right-handed now with just over a mile to run and 4 to jump in this Youngmans long walk hurdle, and it's all Jeff being pressed by Miss Nero and Tuit Castle. Gay Brief on the outside of Russell. French Goblin getting a lot closer now, and Lingham Bride has got a lot to do in rear. There Miss Nero has taken it up. Miss Nero from All Jeff. Then Tuit Castle, then Gay Brief in 4. 5 is Russell. 6 Winterhaven, 7 French Goblin. As they jump the 4th from home, Miss Nero lands in the lead from Tuit Castle. Behind Tuit Castle on the inside is All Jeff, then Gay Brief and Russell, and then French Goblin. As they run down to the 3rd last, All Jeff on the inside from Tuit Castle and Miss Nero. Then Gay Brief, who jumps into 4th just ahead of Russell. French Goblin is still making good progress, but it's All Jeff with the advantage from Tuit Castle. Gay Brief going into 3rd now. Russell 4, racing now towards the home turn, and Gay Brief, the old man of the party, coming to challenge All Jeff, with Tuit Castle now 3rd and Russell 4, coming down to the 2nd last in this Youngman's long walk hurdle. And 11-year-old Gay Brief has just taken it up fractionally, but French Goblin coming there strongly towards the near side. Gay Brief, Russell and French Goblin as they race now into the closing stages. Gay Brief in the centre, French Goblin towards the near side. Russell, the young horse, putting in a strong challenge over on the far side. This is the final flight. Gay Brief and Russell together. French Goblin on the near side. Russell is a faller though. He's unshipped his rider, and it's French Goblin beginning to get up as they race into the closing stages. French Goblin from Gay Brief, and French Goblin is going to win it at the line. French Goblin is the winner, and Gay Brief is 2nd, and Tuit Castle 3rd. And 4 came Miss Nero, and behind Miss Nero was Winterhaven, then All Jeff and the Bakewell Boy, Royal Craftsman and Lingham Bride. So there, happily, the rider of Russell, Michael Bowlby, gets to his feet after that last flight fall, and the winner of the Youngman's long walk hurdle, number 4, French Goblin, owned by Mr. Morris E. Pinto, trained by Josh Gifford and ridden by Peter Hobbs. 2nd was number 2, Gay Brief, owned by Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin, trained by Mrs. Mercy Rymel, ridden by Dermot Brown. And 3rd was number 7, Tuit Castle, owned by Mr. J.H. Richardson, trained by Don Lee and ridden by Jamie Osborne. 4th was number 5, Miss Nero. And here is the winner, French Goblin, the 3-to-1 winner of the Youngman's long walk hurdle.
2nd, number 2, Gay Brief, 11-4 favourite. 3rd, number 7, Tuit Castle, 14-1.